Howdy. Scientific American. Particle Physics. How the Higgs Boson Ruined Peter Higgs' Life. The new biography of the physicist and particle he predicted reveals his disdain for the spotlight. Before we dive into that, I wanted to show you two things. I made recently a video about that. Power shortage. This is how hospitals are preparing for the power shortage. And in the same video, the third run of the Large Hadron Collider has successfully started. Oh, really? Couldn't they give some electricity to the hospitals? Because they probably would need it. But anyway, you can watch the whole video if you want to, or just read the articles, or whatever you do. I just wanted to show that I have been talking about this. But I made also another video earlier, which doesn't work. That's the second time I try. That's why I showed you the other video first. Doesn't work. Now let's try again. Now it works. I don't touch it. This is Brian Greene, The Elegant Universe. He has something on his nose. Yeah. Hello, algorithms. Hello, Google. Hello, trolls, or whatever is going on. Or maybe it's just the internet connection. There has been some internet troubles this evening. Does it work? Doesn't. No, wait a minute. So now that's the original. The Future of Cosmology, a live conversation with Brian Greene, World Science Festival. Check it out, about black holes and stuff.
Hey everyone, good to see you. It's been a while since we did one of these live sessions, live conversations. I am coming to you live from a different setting than ordinarily, not from our place where we sometimes broadcast upstate New York, not from the World Science Festival offices, but from my own physics office at Columbia University. You see this nice image behind me, sort of a artist's version of a black hole. You can see it. There's a big white blotch there coming from the bright sun in the window right now. But this is a piece by
That's hilarious. That's really hilarious. You know, it's an artist's rendering of a black hole, something which doesn't exist, and the sun is shining on its white. Like, what? Are you kidding me? His own office. She's struggling with light reflecting on its black hole, like artist rendering. What? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't convince me. It just doesn't. If you watch the other video, you will probably know about a bit more, like about how I tried to understand him for many years and stuff like that. But
of a black hole. You can see it. There's a big white blotch there coming from the bright sun in the window right now. But this is a piece by a wonderful.
yeah. So I believe, let's say like this, I came to the understanding that the universe is electric and we have electric currents, magnetic fields, and all these kind of things. Sea pinches. This is a stone on the left I found, and the dragon cup on the right. I call it the sea pinch stone. It has a sea pinch and it has a dot here and it has another dot here, or this one might be also. I don't know. But it's like, for me, what? Better evidence you couldn't find. A sea pinch which fits in your hand. Quite amazing. Very amazing. Doesn't need any artist. Nature made it. I found it. Keeping two dragons in one hand. But anyway, let's go back to the article. Yeah, the sea pinch stone is rock solid proof. So, I don't know how long that is. I didn't read it yet. Maybe I will stop in the middle. But anyway. 10 years ago, scientists announced one of the most momentous discoveries in physics, the Higgs boson. The particle predicted 48 years earlier was the missing piece in the standard model of particle physics. The machine built in part to find this particle, the 27-kilometer long circular Large Hadron Collider LHC at CERN near Geneva, had fulfilled its promise by showing signals of a new fundamental bit of nature that matched expectations for the Higgs. Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit strange. My right ear is somehow closed. The existence of this tiny object had first been proposed by physicist Peter Higgs in 1964. For years, the significance of the prediction was lost on most scientists, including Higgs himself. But gradually it became clear that the Higgs boson was not just an exotic sideshow in a particle circus, but rather the main event. The particle and its associated Higgs field turned out to be responsible for giving all other particles mass, and in turn creating the structure of galaxies, stars, and planets that define our universe and enable our species. Physicists believed this story for many decades, but it wasn't proved until July 4th, 2012. Really? July 4th. Isn't that American Independence Day or something? I don't know. When researchers from two experiments at the LHC announced their discovery and confirmed the prediction Higgs made all those years ago. Yet the finding, however scientifically thrilling, pushed the press-shy Peter Higgs into the public eye. When he shared the Nobel Prize in Physics the next year, Higgs left his home in Edinburgh and camped out at a pub across town on the day of the announcement so the prize committee wouldn't be able to reach him. Physicist Frank Close tells the story of Higgs and the physicist's big idea and his new work, Elusive, How Peter Higgs Solved the Mystery of Mass. Basic Books, 2022. Scientific American spoke to Close about the particle, the quest to find it, and the man who began it all. Yeah, a very, very big waste of money and time. Your book is called Elusive. Certainly the Higgs boson itself was elusive and took physicists decades and many billions of dollars to find. But Higgs the man emerges in your book as an elusive person as well. One of the biggest shocks I had when I was interviewing him was when he said the discovery of the boson ruined his life. I thought, how can it ruin your life when you have done some beautiful mathematics and then it turns out you had mysteriously touched on the pulse of nature and everything you have believed in has been shown to be correct and now you've won the Nobel Prize? How can these things amount to ruin? He said. My relatively peaceful existence was ending. My style is to work in isolation and occasionally have a bright idea. He's a very retiring person who was being thrust into the limelight. Yeah, I'm not making fun of any personal destinies, bad experiences in life, or whatsoever. I have one of myself. I know. So I'm not making fun of himself. I'm just making fun of all the stuff around it, building a machine and all this kind of how much money it costs, and Brian Greene with his bright black hole and all these kind of things. But anyway, let's just continue with that. That, to my mind, why is Peter Higgs the person is still elusive to me, even though I've known him for 40 years. You quote Higgs as saying that this idea was the only really original idea I've ever had. Do you think that's true? Yes, but how many of us can say we've even had one really brilliant idea? There's no doubt that he had a really brilliant idea. Yeah, maybe my one mountain water idea is also brilliant. It may even save, literally, thousands of lives. Just say. But anyway, in physics, the people who have done really big things tend to do many big things. Christian Berglund, Hannes Alfvén, just to name a few. Higgs is unique in this being once and once only. So there's no repetitive pattern in that. It is easy to dismiss it as luck, and clearly luck was part of it. But being in the right place at the right time, you have recognized it. Higgs had spent 2 or 3 years really trying to understand the particular problem. And because he had done that hard work and was still trying to deepen his understanding of this very profound concept, when a paper turned up on his desk posing a related question, Higgs happened to have the answer because of the work he'd done. He sometimes says, I am primarily known for 3 weeks of my life. I say, yes, Peter, but you spent 2 years preparing for that moment. The discovery of the Higgs boson came nearly 50 years after Higgs' prediction, and he said he never expected it to be found in his lifetime. What did it mean to him that the particle was finally detected? He said to me that his first reaction was one of relief and that it was indeed confirmed. At the moment he knew the particle existed after all, and he felt a profound sense of being moved that was really the way it was in nature, and then panic that his life was going to change. Ain't that the whole point about being alive? It's changing all the time. Sometimes to the bad, sometimes to the good. Sometimes it's just your focus, which is wrong. There are actually many, many good things, but you cannot just see them because you don't want to. For many reasons. Feeding the wolves and such. But anyway, let's continue. Why was Higgs' discovery so important? Higgs' discovery was that mass is not something intrinsic to particles. It is a result of the whole cosmos. This comes about because there is some field of stuff out there that does this. And the strange, counterintuitive aspect of it. No, let's try it again. And the strange, counterintuitive aspect of it is that if the vacuum of space was completely empty, it would be less stable than if you filled it with this mysterious stuff that we call the Higgs field. That's so counterintuitive that I wonder if that's why it took so long for this idea to emerge. And now we know it's true. I will end the reading here. Maybe I will read the rest. I have been reading Brian Greene and all this kind of stuff many years ago, many hours, many days. I spent years with this stuff. And I have to show you Wal Thornhill. I try to make it really easy. Like I said, that's not prepared this video. I just stumbled across this article and tried to gather stuff as I go, and there's not. Yeah, let's see what I come up with in, let's say, 1 minute. I will put pause, and in the meanwhile, I will tell you what I do. I will go to YouTube, search for a video, and a part of the video which I will show you when I find it. It's simple. And I will put a link below to the video, and you can watch all the things, read all the stuff, listen to all the things that people said in the videos, and make up your own mind. Yeah, I know, this is not entertainment. I don't try to entertain anyone. If you want to know, you are interested, no one has to tell you. You will do it because you are curious. And if you don't care, you just don't care, and hopefully you know what that means. So now I go to search for a video. So now let's jump right into that. Listen to.
Ralph Sansbury, though, said if you calculate the speed of these orbiting little subparticles inside the electron, it's phenomenally faster than the speed of light. He calculated that if those tiny little subparticles were to be released from the electron, they could travel from here to the far side of the Andromeda galaxy in 1 second. This comes back to Newton's law, which doesn't involve time. In other words, it says it's instantaneous. Well, that kind of speed is instantaneous on our scale, on a galactic scale. Tom Van Flandern did his own astronomical calculations to point out that the Earth orbits the Sun, and it knows where the Sun is right now. It's fairly easy to determine that. And by using a more stringent test, he calculated that the speed of gravity exceeded 20 billion times the speed of light.
So I recommend you to watch that whole video. Very interesting. I leave it here. Take it in both sides and make up your own mind. Thanks.